Hey, what's going on? My name is Josh. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm from the Good Brothers Trading Academy, and I'm going to break down some charts today. So we're going to start out with Apple. We took Apple before the announcement. We went ahead and sold our position yesterday, and I've been just kind of watching it. Okay, so the way I do things is we have buy and sell zones, and I break down the charts accordingly where I see buyers and sellers or some struggle happening in the market. We try to find the imbalance at that time in order for if there's a reversal, and we can tell that there's some struggle, we want to know who's winning. And if we can determine who wins at a specific time, as time correlates with price, then you can capitalize on the move. Okay, I generally like to also see some sort of a news catalyst to help move the stock, like this Apple trade, for example. So we have sellers at the top. So I'm just going to put in, I've been watching Apple for a little bit. I'm going to just put in here at the top. Let me see what the 3-hour chart says. So from here to here is going to be roughly my sell zone. When the stock price gets back up and around this area, this is most likely where Apple will have a struggle getting over. So we can bet that there's going to be some sort of sellers up here in this area. Okay. And then as far as being a buyer, anytime you get down where the breakout happened, I would be happy with. This zone was marked out clear ahead. We weren't looking at getting into trade, just wanted to see how it reacted around the 121 area. Okay, so moving along to BA. BA. Oh, I have another YouTube video on BA, and I broke those down, or this ticker down quite a bit, talking about what I saw in this area and what happened. But we'll go ahead and just do it real quick. But I'll have a link in the description box below, talking about the BA trade. And now, before getting in the BA trade, make sure you smash that like button for me, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We're brand new to YouTube, and I'd love it to get to 1,000 subscribers so I can break down tickers and do Q&As every single night. Okay, so what we want to do is taking let's go back to an hourly chart. I love the 3-hour chart and then the hourly chart to find my levels. And so I can see that we have a support or a zone down here. This is where buyers should be stepping into their positions. We have here. That's how I'd break down the BA chart. I'd be paying attention to these levels. These are the important levels to me. And now, when I'm watching it, this just helps me understand the direction of the stock. So what I like to do is I like to figure out where the zones are at, where I feel like there's going to be some struggle between buyers and sellers, where I feel like we're going to get some sort of a price reaction in this stock, and then I go ahead and I put those zones in now. And actually, I think we're gonna. It's more like this. So let's move this box down. And then I do see this is nothing. We can go a different color on this one, but and I had this broke down earlier. You can double check or check out the other video and kind of see what I was doing way ahead of time. So let's go with probably just do a green. Okay, so we understand that that's not maybe as critical as some of these other areas, but we definitely had some buying pressure coming up, had a dip buy, see some struggling, some back and forth action, had to consolidate to get through this area, but this is where we should find some buyers at. And we have a nice, and this is also obviously where the stock is going sideways. Now, this is where we have something here. The stock, I don't know why it's doing that. It's jumping all over the place. Yeah, these would be the areas that I'd be looking for, and be watching the levels around. And if it comes into those levels, I play the bigger candles. So I like the 3-hour time frame for showing me direction of the stock, and I like the hourly time frame for entering, all the way down to like the 10-minute chart or 15-minute chart. They usually show some pretty significant patterns that I like. And so going to BA or BABA. Oh, BABA's been overextended. If we look at the bigger time frame, not really. I mean, what's over? The whole market's overextended, right? So we have the move continuing going up. As long as people are happy with the stock price, it's obviously going to continue. So we had a couple of on the daily candle. We have the indecisive bar. So if this thing does continue and decide to gap up higher tomorrow, we could actually see a decent move. Now, what I would like to do is just let it kind of come back, and we can see that there's definitely some buying and selling into this area. That's how I'd be watching the BA chart. I'd like to see it back down around here. It could continue, or the BA chart, and then look at let's look at TWLO. Actually, I don't care for the BA chart. BA has a lot of gaps, kind of moves all over. We have some clear sellers up here. This would probably be, this is where I'd like to see it. I don't think I'd be chasing this stock. It's put in one heck of a move. I would wait till it got back down into this area right here. This would be my zone. This is where I would like to be a buyer at if it was to come down here. Now, I don't just dip buy. It's very rare that I dip buy. There has to be like a bullish pattern, for example. There has to be something like this for me to do something. Let's say it pushes up strong. Maybe he's making some higher low scenarios, and it just starts falling, and it enters my zone. Then I would probably be a dip buy for a move back into the same zone. Now, what I don't like, and if it continues and continues higher, then that's terrific. But what I don't like to do is if there's a pattern being built for the downside, and then it drops, I generally am not a dip buyer down in this area. It would have to be pretty far, pretty extended. What I'd like to see is, for example, like this would be an area where I'd be interested on maybe buying. And so if the stock, let's say right here, it's building this flag pattern, and then we get a sharp sell-off, and the wick comes down here, I like being a dip buyer down there. Let the wick suck up, put the flag in, and off to the races we go. So I generally don't. Again, I don't just dip buy. What I like to do is I like to see when it comes into this area. I like to see what happens to the stock, and then as it's pushing up and it sells off, then be a dip buyer for it to continue. Okay, so I like to get the direction first. Generally, I'm looking at the 3-hour time frame, playing the hourly chart. So I'm paying attention to what the patterns are in the 3-hour time frame, seeing if I like something, seeing the reversals, and then as they come back or they do a 50% retracement or something like that, then I'm interested at that point on playing like an hourly, half-hour, 15-minute entry, but playing the 15 or the 3-hour time period, right? Okay, let's see. Let's go to Facebook. Be sure to leave a comment in the comment box below if you'd like me to break down some charts that you guys would like to see some value in. If you guys like trading, be sure to give me some tickers to break down. I'll tell you where the buy zones are at, and you can just watch to see how they react around those areas. Looks like I already broke down Facebook. It's holding this zone. Before I actually like Facebook as a continuation move, and what I would like to see is a push up, and then I would be a buyer down here in this zone. If it does sell off, depending on what it looks like, if we get, for example, if it's consolidating and we just get a sell off without a 3-hour pattern, I would buy the dip down here in the 268s or so, and yeah, that's fine. That's the way I would play Facebook. And then here's NVIDIA. NVIDIA has some sellers in the top. Start out with something that I understand in order to find these areas. And we see some more selling. NVIDIA sometimes has some really close zones, and you got to kind of, NVIDIA is always a little more difficult for some reason for me to just kind of break down and really fine tune where I would be a buyer and seller at. Let's start way down there. Okay, moves up, tags. That's what I'd be looking at for NVIDIA. I'd be paying attention to what happens around these price zones here. I hate the green. Yep, and that is the high. I just put something there just so I know it. So that's what I'd be looking for. I'd be looking for 550, 543. I'd be looking for price reaction off of here. Tag this zone, dip buyer down here, something like that. Okay, buy low, sell high. Same scenario. Let's look at Beyond. Okay, Beyond was in this channel. We took Beyond right as it broke this flag pattern right here. This was a very nice trade. Let's see. We had this. We have some sellers up here. I'd be careful anywhere in here. If it's up here, I would not be buying. It needs to tag the top side of that first. This is definitely a buy area, and that proved to be so. If not, here's a little something. I would make this a different color. Let's put that any color, like so. That's how, this is what I'd be looking for Beyond. I'd be watching these areas, and if we get a turnaround, if we start moving up higher, you can be watching those bigger time frames for the candlesticks. See if we're now back in here. This would be a point of confluence. If it gets up here and it's hitting this trend line all at the same time as the you know, your zone area, you'll probably most likely find it's more like that, probably. I don't know. I hate trend lines. Everybody draws them in a little different. They don't really matter, but we were stuck in this back and forth action before breaking out. It looks like we tagged the top side before moving up, but regardless, it really just comes down to who's trapped in the stock and who's not, right? So if we can figure out that there was buyers and sellers trapped in this area and it gapped down and we find some more buyers and it goes back and forth within these two zones or within this area here, we will eventually find out who's winning the battle, and we can play it from there. We'll leave the trend line in for kicks and giggles, see what happens, but I'm not a big trend line person, but I did notice that it was in quite a channel for quite some time. You could buy the lows and sell the highs. When I saw this consolidation at the top, that's kind of where I got interested in it, but I did follow it through this whole scenario. But anyway, if this is useful to you, if you're going to follow some of these stocks, if the buy zones, the demand zones, where buyers and sellers kind of struggle, make a lot of sense to you, you should definitely comment in the box below. If you break down stocks a different way, be sure to explain it to me. Let me know what you like to do and what how you like to kind of watch the price action. And make sure you share, you like the video, subscribe to our channel, hit the thumbs up or the notification bell so you're going to be updated every single time we come out with new content. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.